You know, sometimes when you're back home and maybe you are facing some serious challenges or whichever challenges that you are facing, we normally tend to forget that there's somebody that might be watching us, somebody that really cares for us. At that time you are meeting challenges, you might think that the whole world has turned their back against you. That is not the case, you know. When I came to Uganda, I realized that, living in Nairobi, I left Nairobi in a hurry. I took my wife, I took my little girl, and we came all the way to the village. And I decided, let's go to the village because I didn't know the fate of the country. I really didn't understand what was the fate of Kenya. How was it going to be? Because what I saw with my two eyes was serious. Like, I almost saw death. Almost saw death. Because I would see soldiers, I would see police in the streets of Nairobi and firing the bullets on the air and throwing the tear gas. I thought the country was breaking apart. And I decided, no, I'm not going to wait for this to happen. It was on a Tuesday, a particular Tuesday, like 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago, when there was this deadly demonstration that saw Kenyans invade the Kenyan parliament. So I took my partner and my kid, my little girl, and we moved to the village because I just wanted that peace. So while staying at the village, I still remembered I am in the same country. Because even when I went to the local market, people were still demonstrating in the local market. It again reminded me of those things which are happening in Nairobi. Sometimes it's so traumatizing when you see death head on and you miss it, or God gives you the grace of missing it. I decided, no, let me go and visit our neighboring country, Uganda. Uganda is a peaceful country, as I came to realize. It's a country that is underrated, according to me. I've heard Kenyans say this and that about Kampala. Some people speak so nice, some people not really so nice. But I want to give them this. Answer. Don't speak bad of a country before you visit it. If you can't speak good, it's always better to shut up. That's always the best thing to do. Me moving to Uganda opened my eyes. First thing I want to tell you this. You might be having a question. How do you move to Uganda? How do you come to Uganda as a Kenyan? You don't need a lot of things. I came here with a temporary passport. Temporary. You pay as little as 700 Kenya shillings. 700 Kenya shillings only, and you're able to move and stay in Uganda for some time that you say. To me, I pushed it up to 1 week, but I knew I'm going to stay for 3 days. It's always good to extend, to give a longer period than the one which you can stay there, because you don't want problems with the authorities. Just with my ID and my temporary permit. Also, I took a yellow fever vaccine, which we'll be taking. It's around 500. You'll be taking the yellow vaccine and the temporary passport. After I take that, you'll be able to move to Uganda and live here. When you walk the streets of Uganda, nobody can tell if you're a Ugandan or if you're a Kenyan. If you look around, you don't see a Ugandan and a Kenyan. If you look around, what you see is an African. When two Africans from two different countries meet in Europe, or maybe they meet in the USA, or somewhere in Asia, or Australia, whichever place outside Africa, they don't see a Senegalese, they don't see a Nigerian, they don't see a Tanzanian, they don't see a Kenyan, they don't see a South Sudanese. They see a brother, they see a sister, they see an African. That is what I felt here. I felt love, I felt welcomed, I felt These people are talking with me like I've been living here. I am their lost son. I even had a look-alike, and they told me this is my twin brother. We made a lot of story. I even went to the ghetto, took some videos over there. You know, these people are really fun. These people are happy. And they had a message for the Generation Z. The Generation Z, the Ugandans really admire your courage. And the Ugandans are so much praying for you. Ugandans are praying for us, you know. They are so much appreciative of us and our courageous stance to move forward and to refuse oppressive leadership. Because you understand one thing, we are not in the colonial era, we are in the modern era. You understand? Post-colonial era. Now, my visit to Uganda is a stunning experience. It's a beautiful one. People are really nice, people are good, as I told you before. I just noticed some few differences with Kenya, Uganda and Kenya. There's a very huge difference. For example, 1 Kenya shillings is equal to 30 Ugandan shillings. It might vary between 28, 29, 30. It is 29 plus minus 1. It's always that way. So it might be 30 or 28 or 29. So their currency, you use a lot of money to buy small things that we would otherwise use small amount. For example, there's a 50,000 bill. 50,000 bill, which is the highest. There's a 20,000 bill. A single note, 50,000. There's a single note, 20,000. Another single note, 10,000. Another single note, 5,000. Another single note, 2,000. Another one, 1,000. 500, 200, 100. We even have 500 Ugandan shillings coin. I was astonished to see that 50,000 can be put in one note. It reminds me of South Korean won. South Korea also has kind of the same thing. And Kenyan money is even higher than the money of South Korea, if you didn't know. So Kenyans, we should really appreciate ourselves. Some of us who are saying the country is bad, this and that, just one man is making the country look bad, but the country is in good shape economically, relatively, let me use economically relatively than these other East African countries. When I compared the Kenyan shillings with the Tanzanian shillings, 1 Kenyan shillings is equal to 20 Tanzanian shillings. You understand? Now, you might think because a Ugandan shilling is less than Kenyan shilling, things are cheap here. No, 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 no. Things are not cheap here. They are not. For instance, a bag of sugar, 50 kilograms bag of sugar, here in Uganda, it costs 6,300 Kenya shillings. I did a calculation. I asked someone, they gave me a value, I divided by 30. And I got the value of 6,300. While in Kenya, the same bag cost 6,500. The only difference is 200 shillings for a 50 kilogram. So if you divide these 50 kilograms per kg, it's almost negligible. It's small, it's tiny. One thing you need to understand, when you come to Uganda, you need money. Carry plenty of Kenya shillings. Having Kenya shillings does not give you an upper advantage. No, it doesn't do that. It only, even in fact, the Kenya shillings loses some of its value in the translation from Kenya shillings to Uganda shillings. And then the houses are also expensive. Houses to rent are really expensive in Uganda, not as compared to Kenya. You understand? And then we have the motorbikes. In Nairobi, I thought Nairobi was the place with the highest number of motorbikes because I really love motorbikes. I have friends who ride motorbikes. But when you're a driver driving around Nairobi, you know how they behave. Not once, not twice, I've had occurrences with the motorcycle riders. Some hit my bumper, some broke my side mirror, some hit my tail lamp. So I'm always pissed off by some of these motorbike riders. Now when I came to Uganda, Kampala city, eh, 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 there is motorcycles, too many motorcycles, like cockroach. I cannot drive. If you're somebody who is having hesitation driving in Nairobi CBD with all those motorcycles, believe me, you will not drive in Kampala. You will not. You will get stuck. You will not. Here we don't have matatus, but we have motorcycles. In Nairobi, we have the problems of matatus and their reckless driving. Here we have motorcycles, and these motorcycles do not have any law. They drive anyway. They drive opposite. Hey, it's confusion. It's chaos. It's chaos. It's confusion. It's chaos. It's everything. This is one thing I noticed with Uganda when I came. The traffic. Now let's talk about the food. The food here is cheaper. The food is nice. The food is plenty compared to Kenya. But some kind of food. For example, I saw a big tomato. A tomato we would buy in Nairobi for 10 shillings. Here I bought at 17 shillings. Kenyan. I'm using Kenyan now. Because I'm Kenyan, I'm used to the Kenyan revenue, to the Kenyan currency. I would buy this tomato for 10 shillings in Kenya. But here, 17 shillings. A single tomato. 7 shillings added on top of that 10. Just a tomato. Another thing was this. The mode of transport is motorcycle or these vans with blue lines. The vans in Uganda, the vans in Kenya first. You will identify this is a PSV by a yellow line. A yellow line is drawn around it. Around it you will see a yellow line. But in Uganda, a yellow continuous line in Kenya. Yellow continuous line. But in Uganda, there is a blue line. Blue broken line. If you see any van, Toyota Hiace, these Toyota Hiaces mostly, you will see that they have a blue broken line. You'll find them here. Another thing I noticed with Uganda is this. You see, in Kenya, we import cars that are not more than 8 years old. That's the limit. Not more than 8 years old. Right now, the car dealers or the car importers are importing the cars of 2017, 2018. Those are the cars being imported right now from Japan, which are used in Japan. They're used in Japan, but they are really good. Understand? So cars in Kenya which have the KD number plate will be either the cars of 2016, which were imported last year, or the cars of 2017, which were imported this year, and will be very soon, they won't be imported. The government will shift to 2018. The authority that controls the importation of cars in Kenya is called the NTSA, National Transport and Safety Authority. Actually, it's a two-body. There's another one called the KENHA, Kenya National Highway Authority. They ensure we have the right, the car is of the right age when it comes here, because we don't want too many of them. In Uganda, it's different. Though I don't know the authority that controls traffic and motor vehicles, I noticed and I saw that Uganda, they are still using the B. The B, the number plate, the middle number, which is B, like UBF, UBG, UBA, you understand? So the B always tells the generation of the car, the B. So the B is the current new cars, newer cars, newer is the right word here, are having the B number plate designated in the middle. I saw older models of cars here having the B number plate. Those cars I'm used to seeing in Kenya are not those cars I was seeing here. Actually, demands of cars depends on a specific country. In Uganda, they use older cars. I'm not saying they're bad cars, I'm just saying they're older cars. That is the cars that they're using. The cars are just older. But in Kenya, they are newer. Another thing I noticed is the roads. The roads in Kenya, I can say Uganda is waking up. Uganda is making one or two things, and me sharing this video is not to say Kenya is great. Kenya is not great. It's really not great. But we should always give credit where credit is due. The roads here are not as better as we have back in Kenya. That is one thing you should prepare for. I'm not saying the roads are impassable. The roads, you can pass through them, but they are not as the ones we have in Kenya. Kenya, we have a lot of skyscrapers. We have a lots of them. In Kenya, we have very nice highways. The super highway, the Outer Ring Road, we have the Nairobi Expressway, we have the southern, northern, eastern, northern, eastern, and southern bypass. So many roads. We have Mombasa Road being expanded right now. So many of these is happening. I only saw a major highway here in Uganda. It's called here in the city of Kampala. It's called the Queensway. The Queensway is the major highway that I saw in Uganda, which I think is really nice. Also, I saw a very nice bridge at a place called Ginger. Ginger is where the River Nile crosses while it goes to Egypt. I thought the River Nile was a small river. That thing is a giant. It's a giant. It's very fat. It's so big. The River Nile. So big and so elegant. When I saw that, I was so much amazed. I saw that beautiful bridge, the one with the lines. The only problem was this. I was traveling on a bus, not a private car. I couldn't really show the videos. But now you need to understand one thing. Each country has its own strength, and each country has its own weaknesses. What we need to understand is learn to appreciate the strengths and learn how to improve on the weaknesses. That is my message. I made more videos on my tour to Kampala, Uganda, and Uganda as a whole. Kindly subscribe, give your thoughts on the comment section. Let me know what you think on this video. I'll see you in the next one.